Please welcome Cordovez. We're thrilled to have you here.
Nice. Nice. Thrilled to be here.
Yeah.
Beautiful people here in this room. Nice.
You know, I was reading and doing my homework before when we were preparing, and I kept going, wow, 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 wow. But I formulated some questions that allow you to kind of, from your own personal experience, share with everybody how things took place. And we've got, as you know, the diverse group in the room. We've got some up-and-coming billionaires in the making, business owners currently, and everybody. We've got the phone number up on the screen, and we're texting in questions, and I can never keep up with them, but it works out great. Okay, good. So we're going to do a question and answer format, fireside chat like we've done before. And I've got a couple questions that I just had to ask so the audience could hear the answers.
Let's do it.
Okay, good. Okay, first question. I want to go back to the beginning. When you came home, and your lovely wife Whitney, she was there, and you spoke to her about an idea to stay home and become an entrepreneur. And then some of our attendees are looking to become an entrepreneur or transition into something a little more profitable than what they're doing now. And kind of at the precipice and need to jump, just like you were then. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that whole time period, what you learned about risk.
You know, there's this idea, right, that if you kind of have the right moment and you dedicate yourself fully, and let's say you didn't have to work, you didn't have to do anything, you just were at home, that you would, that would make everything happen. So that was my hypothesis. Like, if I just stayed home and I put enough time into this internet thing, I'll be able to get rich. Like, let me put time into it. So I basically let my wife work. So she was working, supporting me, which is not a great scenario, right?
All the guys are going, wow, that's a risk.
So she agreed to do that, and I was at home. And I said, okay, good. 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to start working. I'll work till 5. That's what she's working, so that's what I'll work. And I'm going to work on making this internet business. And around 9:05 in the morning, so 5 minutes in, I go, I don't know what I should do. And then I go, well, at that time I had picked up this video game where it gives you rewards if you play like every 20 minutes. So I'm like, I'll just log in and like check in on it, right? And like set it to go. So like press and it'll go. And then I would just get sucked into it and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop now. And I'm like, hey, what am I gonna do? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write an article to publish stuff online, right? And then I would write for like a few minutes, nothing would happen. I'm like, wait, it's been 20 minutes, I gotta check in on my game. So then, the first day I probably spent like 2-3 hours working, and then 5 hours not working. The second day I spent 2 hours working. The third day I spent an hour working. By the end of the week, I didn't do anything. And so, there's this fake idea that like, if you just had a chance, like it would happen, right? And that didn't work out for me, right? And so after a few weeks, I realized that this can't go on that way. I'll just get a regular job and do a regular thing. And it led into a point of like going and working in office and being with the team and getting in motion. That's when I started working and started doing things. And I learned that if I was able to make money for myself, right, it would start with, I need to make money for somebody else. I need to learn how business works. I need to get in the world. I need to figure out what the steps are first and work very well, so then I can figure out what to do for myself. Because when you're on your own, you're doing like a business and you've never worked in a business, you've never made someone else money. How are you going to make yourself money when all the risk is on you? You're making no money, there's no reward, there's no instant gratification, there's no nothing. And so I shortly got kicked out of my house to go work.
Okay, good. I was going to say, okay, good. Next question then. So the next question kind of dovetails, because as I was looking through everything and it was like, wow. The next thing, so back out into the workforce, figuring out how to do business. And then you spoke about the early challenges when you were doing things other than what you needed to do. Okay, I'm spending time gaming and not focusing on business, and how that became more and more gaming than business. And then you commented in that time that it took your drive away. You know, it was like you felt like a failure.
I was a failure.
Then okay, good. Well, what turned that around then? I mean, let me kind of survey you guys. How many of you ever felt like, you know, might not be for me at some point in time in your life? Okay, good. So we've all kind of hit that point. And when I was reading, I was going, okay, there's that point where Aaron probably hit it. What did you do to turn that around? What was the actions or mental?
I would like to say it was all me, and it really wasn't. So here's what happens. So you've heard of how diamonds are made, right? Diamonds.
Yep.
Diamonds are made under like millions of pounds of pressure over time.
Yep.
And they get so much pressure, like they come out and this beautiful thing comes out. This is how it was for me. Because what occurred is and so basically my wife wanted to have babies. Guys, women lead the world, okay? I just have to say. Okay, yes. Sorry, I'm gonna get a little off track.
Every man in the audience is going, yep, that's right, yep, that's right, yep.
I just want to say, I was reading a book yesterday. This is a little bit of a diversion, but I was reading a book yesterday about Walt Disney. And Mickey Mouse, his original name, so Walt Disney himself, he named Mickey Mouse Mortimer Mouse.
Oh yeah.
That's a great idea, right? That would have been amazing. And his wife said, no, honey, that's bad. And she named Mickey Mouse. So I'm just sharing, like, it's always the whip. I just have to say it. Okay, so let's move on. So, essentially, my wife, at that time, she wanted to have a child. She wanted us to have a baby. And I said, like, no, we'll have a baby when we're, like, financially stable and, like, when we're ready and, like, the stars will align and, like, we're going to be rich one day because I spend so much time working. And then we'll have a baby. And then eventually, I worked for about a month, and then she ended up calling my mom. So actually, Zulai Kitchen, you guys know, Zulai Kitchen, my company, is named after my mom, because my mom is amazing. So we guys, I just call her like it is. Women are great, moms are amazing. We're here because of each person's mom. Okay, so, okay, good. So, anyway, my mom called me and said, Aaron, why won't you give your wife a baby? I said, that's harsh, right? Like, wow, what's going on here? And I said, like, I'm broke, like, we have no money, like, we can't afford, like, anything, we can hardly afford our living now, like, diapers and daycare and this, we can't do it. And she said, that's not a good excuse. And so then, I'm like, okay, well, yeah. And she said, what's the worst that can happen? I said, the worst that can happen, I had it all worked out in my head, I had dreams about this one. We're gonna live under the bridge, okay? And my baby will be drinking like bridge water, right? And we'll be starving, and we'll be living in cardboard boxes, right? I had a very nice thing. That would happen if we had a baby. That was like my thought. And my mom said, okay. If it ever gets near that, you'll come live in my house in Miami. I'll give you a job in my warehouse, and I will pay for the baby's expenses.
Wow.
What else do you have? Any other reasons you won't give your wife a baby? Nope, I'm out of reasons. Okay, bye, I'm showing up. Okay, all right. And my wife is on the line, we're talking in Spanish, right? So my wife has no idea what's going on. And so then she goes like, what'd she say? Nothing. No, so, anyway, I told her, and look, shortly thereafter, we did what married couples do, and then a baby was on the way. So, and that would become our daughter Luna, okay? And I will tell you, the thing that got me to go from doing absolutely nothing to doing something is when I realized that I am a father. My wife was about 5 months pregnant, and I was thinking I'm going to become a father when the baby's born, but then I'm like, wait, there's a baby there. Like, oh gosh. Like, there's a thing in the Harvard College manuals, right, called the conditions of existence.
Yeah.
Okay, and so one of those is you have to realize that you have a job. Okay, and that step happened for me. You know, it was made happen. It happened to me, I would say, and I go, like, I don't want to live in my mom's house. That's a very bad idea, right? Like, oh my gosh, like and that was a process of becoming a provider, a worker, a producer, a father, a husband, a person who will do things instead of have things happen to me. And so at that point was when that decision was made, when that condition of life occurred, and I moved into the position of knowing that I was a person that was going to change and create a future for my daughter. It's all cool to say, hey, the government will handle the kids in the school, this and that. But when it's your own child, it's the first time in my life that I said, I am fully responsible, 100%. Me, what I do will be the future of this child. And I go, I can't play 20 hours a day anymore.
Wow.
You know, that's not acceptable. That's,
Wow.
It's supposed to be a joke, but it's okay.
You know, by the way, the seminar later on this afternoon you're not going to want to miss. Aaron's mom is going to do a talk on objection handling for us today. It's a don't miss seminar, okay, just so you. That no pressure, you know what? Okay, good. Thank you. Next question. Now, you might have answered some of it, okay? So I'll read the question, and if it's a little, if you've already answered it, it's okay. So, after your first attempt at being an entrepreneur, you threw the towel in, got a job, but then in 2015, you shifted gears from studying to get a better job into the Amazon business. Was that, I'm going to be a father, and you looked at Amazon at that point? Is that time influencing?
Kind of. So there's a step in the middle, right?
Okay,
and as I mentioned, like the time that Amazon worked when I had absolutely no time in my life, and I was like, I'm gonna work an hour a day on it. Like that was the pressure thing. When you have like only 1 hour, then I really got to work. But that's later. Right after this position, then what happened is I'm like, I need to go work and make money, and I ended up doing a programming school. So I learned how to do programming, right? I learned how to make websites and things like that. And I did a class that was like a 3-month class. This is while my wife was pregnant, and it was basically 100 hours a week of studying. So you're in place. It's like you're learning from one of the developers of Google. It's a crazy school. And I did that, and I got a job for over $100,000, right? So, and I got that job offer while my wife was in labor with our baby. It was a whole crazy story. I mean, but it's not marketing that much, so it is, whatever. So, point is, then I'm like, I made it. I'm making $100,000, right? We're living in California, and I'm like, I'm ready. You know, like, I win at life, right? And then, you know, I realized, well, my wife is at home with the baby. She's not making any more money. I'm covering for, like, the expenses started coming up really fast, and I discovered in like 2 months that I didn't make it. Like, there's something else to be done here. And at that point, that's when I was thinking of doing this other business and adding Amazon into my life and adding like, hey, how do I make another $500 a month, right? $1,000 a month. If I could just pay for daycare, that would be huge, right? We were planning to have the baby in daycare at like about 2 years old. And so if I could do that, it would be amazing. And so that's when I made the jump into the Amazon deal.
It's amazing. I mean, especially when you get here, it's like, okay, if I can just start and get this. So at that moment, it's like Manuel and many of the speakers, were you thinking of 4 or 5 years, here's what it's going to turn into? Or it was just like, this needs to happen right now? And what was happening for you guys?
So, you know, at that time, so Luna, our first daughter, right, she was just born. She was about 3 or 4 months old. And, you know, all I was thinking of is, look, I bought a course. The course was $5,000, okay? And I had bought other courses and not really done anything with it. But I said, like, this is the time. I'll buy this course. I'll learn on Amazon. It's $5,000. If I can make $5,000 in 1 year, I can pay off the course the first year, and the second year I'll make $5,000, and that'll be enough to cover some of it. Like that was the entirety of the feature in there. And what happens is, it's not so much the dream. Like whether I was saying, hey, I'm gonna have this $1 million business. That is not the big thing that made the difference. The difference was when I started and I did my first idea of like, what will my business be, right? first of all, I had a tiny amount of time. I had about an hour. Like I would come home at, let's say, 10 o'clock at night after working, after doing all these different things. And then I come home at 10. And that's it. I have an hour before I go to sleep at 11.
Wow.
And I have to figure out, so time, instead of taking forever and like all these things come in, it was hyper focused on, I'm gonna learn this thing, and then I have to do one thing today to move my business forward. And I was studying at that time too, the conditions, okay? Now, the first condition when you start a new business, and some people here know it, but it's called the condition of non-existence. If you don't exist, you're nothing. No one knows your brand, no one knows your product, no one knows you. You are totally unknown to everybody, okay? You're unknown. Nobody knows you. Like, oh, I'm selling something. Huh? Who are you? And so that's where I was starting. I'm like, I'm gonna do these steps, okay? And one of the steps is discover what is needed. What do people need? What do people want? And in what's amazing about Amazon and e-commerce and the digital world we live in, you could look up and find what people are searching for. What are people searching for? Are they getting the result that they want? Is there space there? Is there something that can improve on what people are being offered? And they're not meeting that demand. They're not being fulfilled. And I was just following those steps. Okay? And I was focused so hard on that. Every day I need to do something to move myself on this condition. Every single day, no matter what. And if I had an hour, I had to figure out how to do it. What would I do today that would actually, the customer would see it? Anyway, I can go into more specifics, but that's
Yeah, the concept is that, yeah. So starting out, thank you for that, but for an hour a day, a little extra money, okay, and the pressure of, I'm going to be a father now, which kind of changes a purpose for everything. And then one of the things that I was, especially for our younger folks, and for our entrepreneurs too, did you find, so you went back, I'm going to be a programmer, I did the course, I'm doing websites, and then an hour a day you're spending on something. Was there, like, as an entrepreneur, there's an itch that just can never get scratched? Does it, and all my business owners, you know what I'm talking about? You have to be in business, or you have to have something where you're in control. Was that a driving force for you guys, or was it more like, I'm making some extra money and handling the situation in the daydream? What was it like then?
You know, I kind of feel like, I don't know, the idea of this motivation of like an itch or a yearning, I wasn't thinking about that. I'm thinking about, I need to pay this daycare, I need to pay the guy the diapers, I need, I need to buy the wipes to wipe the butt. Like that's, I need to cover, I need to do this. It's more of a necessity than like a yearning or an itch or something.
Yeah.
Now, today, yes, it's amazing, it's fun, you build products, you do things, like, it's very fun. At that time, I wasn't thinking about it,
Yeah.
Although I will say, as you get better in your job, actually, I had a conversation. So I was working in a company when I was programming. Actually, even when I started Amazon, I was still at this company. It was called Ditto Technologies, and it was like a sort kind of AI, but you would take your face, you take a video of your face, going like this, okay, and it would do a rendering of any pair of glasses on your face, and you can move it around.
Right.
Okay, so it was like this sort of San Francisco startup, and the company was losing money. So it's like their policies of how a company should go was a little bit interesting. I mean, I didn't care too much because I got my salary, I was like happy. But I would go to, let's say, my boss, and I would say, hey, I'm working on this project, we're renting out glasses. I made a website to rent glasses, okay, that was one thing I did. And I said, it's not making money. If we move this pricing around, if I advertise over here, if I do this, it can be profitable. And I showed him like my Excel spreadsheet of how to make the company profitable. And he said, why are you wasting your time with that? We don't need to be profitable. That's not our goal right now. We're growing, and we'll get funding and this. I go, oh, okay.
Wow.
So, okay, fine. I was like, okay, well, they know more than me, their company, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And so, the itch so much was, I want to make something grow. Whether it was mine or not, didn't matter. I wanted to make this thing grow. They gave me a chance. They allowed me to pay for my bills for my first child that I wanted to give back to this company, and I was trying, and I did, and I would do proposals, and they're like, don't worry about that.
Wow.
And I talked to the CEO, like, I was wanting to fill that itch, because I think whether it's all yours or it's not yours or whatever, I think that the fact that you made something amazing is very rewarding by itself. And the fact is, like, right now, the more money that I make today, like, okay, if I made 1/10 of the money, my lifestyle wouldn't change. Like, I'm not making money for myself to use it to buy a Lamborghini, right? Maybe one day I'll buy a Lamborghini, but I could, but I don't have one. Okay. So, whether I did it in a place and I saw that creation, those products, or I had it myself, the difference is less than being stopped in creating something amazing. I wanted to make something amazing, whether it was my job, and at that point you lose a little bit of, let's say, motivation or drive in the job, where I go, I can make this company money, but it's not really a priority.
Tracking totally. So then when you start seeing your Amazon hour a day, maybe hour and a half a day, and all of a sudden something happens where you go, this has got my attention. We talk about that, like, whoa, that first where not enough money's coming in to pay the bills, but something happens internally where a dream as an entrepreneur. Did something like that happen for you then? Can you talk about that to the audience?
I would say there was, the most exciting moment of the business. Probably. Actually, the number one is probably when we survived the lawsuit, and we survived. That was probably number one. This is number two. The second most exciting was when I saw that we made a sale, our very first sale to a complete stranger. It was like day number 7 that we went live. The first sale was like my mom, my aunt, my cousin, high school friend, this, and like on day 6 I go, who's this Jessica? Who's Jessica? I'm like, Whitney, do you know Jessica? Mom, did you tell Jessica to buy? No. This is a stranger. They just bought from us. This could be a business, right? And it was like so exciting. And that changed everything, because I thought that these big companies were the only people that were the ones that people trusted. You would have to buy from whoever, an OXO, right? That's like my competitor, a KitchenAid. If you weren't buying from them, how do I have a chance? I'm nobody. I'm in non-existence. Who am I? But then at that moment was, hey, maybe they will trust me. Maybe they can trust me. Maybe this is actually something with the future. And if you actually deliver the product that the person wants, and you can do it cheaper because you don't have all this huge payroll, then that's when it started going up, and everything started.
Beautiful. And okay, I'll get to the legal stuff that comes. Well, let's take it up because it's we're here now. So in handling barriers, because when I was doing all the research to make sure that this was really good for everybody, I saw that there was a lawsuit, and I don't know if you guys have had this, but when legal comes in, it's an attention getter, and you're not ready for it, and sometimes it's very much an injustice. But you said one of the biggest...
it was quite just. I was doing illegal stuff. But let me explain. It was not on purpose, okay? It was not on purpose. So here, let's talk about this, okay? So our very first product was a lemon squeezer. Okay? It's a 2-in-1 lemon squeezer. It's actually quite an invention, right? So the very first thing, part of like finding out what people want, is I looked at this market and I saw that the top seller didn't have that good reviews. Everything is different. Like there was no attention in the lemon squeezer market, right? I just looked on Amazon and I go, everything is different. There's no clear winner. It's kind of like this like soup, and you don't know what to buy. So I said, I will find the best lemon squeezer on the planet, and I will sell it. And because it's the best, and then I will market it the best, and I have conviction that if people buy it, they're gonna be better off because it will be the best. I will get to number 1. That's an idea that I made. I said, wow, this is what I'm gonna achieve. And we tested 25 different models of lemon squeezers. I bought a bunch from Amazon. I bought from like 6 different factories, all these different models, and I tested them, like blind tested, like cover it up. We would measure like how much juice came out. We would throw it on the ground. We did like hours of testing. I can say with certainty that nobody knew more about those lemon squeezers in that moment than me on the planet. Okay, nobody's done that much testing. It's like crazy. Like who tests a lemon squeezer? I've never seen it. So we found this 2-in-1 was the best. We ordered it, we started selling. And there was already several selling. Like on the market, there was, let's say, 10 different people selling it. But they were ugly, like the pictures were ugly. They were ranked number like 20. They weren't selling very well. But I said, this is the best one. It should be number 1. It should be because it's better. And people like it better. It has good reviews, but it's not seen. And so we worked to get that to the top. And that is, I think we hit number 1 in the category after about 18 months of being live. I mean, it was quick because, well, I obsessed over it and I made sure the picture was amazing. And if I met somebody and they were a photographer, I'd be like, okay, how much for a picture? And I would pay them. I hired probably 19 photographers, not 19, I was exaggerating, sorry. I mean, unexaggerating. 7 different photographers, but if I met anybody that were a photographer, I hired them. We tried renderings, we tried everything to make the image perfect. Because that's all you see on the phone. There's no conversations, you just shop and this kind of unconscious thing, you click on an image and you buy it. So I made my image the best. It was the best product, it got to number 1. Little did I know, which I didn't know, okay? That 2-in-1 lemon squeezer was patented, okay?
I'm tracking totally. Yeah.
A patent means somebody owns the rights to sell that design. It was a utility patent, which is like the strongest patent that exists.
Yeah.
And it was owned by a little company called Amco Housewares, okay? And Amco, they were not asserting their rights. I didn't know they existed. We didn't know it was a patent. We were just selling. There's so many people already on Amazon. If someone had a patent, normally you take people down. So my thought process, if someone's selling it, then it's not patented. I didn't do any patent research. I just thought I could sell it. In 2017, May 2017, no. So hold on. I quit my job June of 2017. Okay, it was my birthday. All right. We sold $100,000 for the first time in March of 2017. I said, this is crazy. We sold $100,000 of like lemon squeezers. Like, who knew? Like, who knew? I did not. And I told my wife, this is getting real. Like, I don't know. Like, either tomorrow it's going to go to 0 or it won't. Like, we need to think about this. And so we made it. Yeah, like, who knows?
Here we go.
Like, Oxo's going to figure it out and like shut us down in a second. Like, someone's going to figure out that we're doing this and like stop us. That's what I was expecting any second. But I told her, listen, if this happens for 3 more months of 100,000 and it doesn't go down, I think I should go full time into this. At that time, it was limited, right? Mm-hmm. And so that happened. June comes, right before my birthday, quit my job. I'm now full time into this thing, and I'm like, I gotta make this go. I put my computer games in the closet, because now I'm at home. It's scary. So anyway, fine, everything's going good. We're all cool, chilling, was happy. Everything's amazing. Now, in July, another event occurred, which is a company called Lifetime Brands. They purchased a little company called Amco Housewares. And with it, they took all the intellectual property, everything else. Mm-hmm. Come August, we get a letter. It says, hey, you're selling our product. Please send us everything you've sold everywhere in the past. So you can pay us everything you've ever made, period. Or if not, we're gonna take you down.
Yeah.
My wife was pregnant with our second baby. So I quit my job, my wife's pregnant again, and now everything we have is being threatened.
Wow.
So I hired a law firm down in Miami, and I told them what's happening. And they said, don't worry. They actually looked at the history of the company, Lifetime Brands. This company has been around for like 70 years. And in their history, they've only filed 2 lawsuits.
Wow.
So the law firm told me, don't worry. We'll tell them that you're not really breaking, you're not doing anything illegal, because they gave me some reason, like in 1960, someone had a lemon squeezer that was kind of shaped like it or something, and we would tell them that we're not violating anything, and like they would go off because they don't sue. They've only sued twice in their life, so you're off the hook. Bad legal advice.
Wow.
Very bad. That was the worst advice I've had. Okay. So we wrote to them and said, hey, you're bluffing this, whatever. We said, like, get off my face, you're not going to stop me. I didn't stop the sales. I was totally like, I'm listening to my lawyer, right? That's what we should all do, right? That's what. But look, they make money on lawsuits. They make money on, you know what I mean? Like this. So then, funny, there's so many events that happen. On my wife's birthday, we got served the lawsuit. September 14th of 2017. And so she's pregnant, lawsuit. I mean, this is bad. Like I'm losing again. Anyway, we ended up. I don't know the story of how much I get into it, but basically, at one point I decided I needed to communicate. Right? I needed to communicate and talk and reach out because I was like, well, I don't know what to do now. We're going to lose this lawsuit. If you look at the patent pictures, it's like an identical. It's the exact. There was no denying that it was their product, right? Regardless of what the lawyer said. Anyway, at one point I called them. I messaged every single one of the person's legal team, directors, employees on LinkedIn. I said, hey, I have a baby coming. I'm willing to settle. Tell me what you want to do. And one other thing I did, I told them, listen, you guys. I didn't say you guys are mad because of this, but I said, you guys have been selling this product since 2007. Why are we selling so much more than you? Let me do that for your other products.
Bingo.
You see?
Bingo.
I'm like, let me show you this. And I looked at one of their products on Amazon because it's a very big company. I said, here's some free tips on this product. I will help you. I'll do a seminar for free. We'll settle. We'll pay you this. Like, please, my baby's coming. You don't want us to live under the bridge, right? I didn't actually say that. So, and one lucky day, 5 days before the day we were supposed to arrive in court, I got a call from one of their directors and said, hey, is this Aaron? And we spoke for like an hour and this, and he's like, oh, and after the call, he said, I'm so surprised. You seem like such a nice guy. And I said, oh, well, thank you. You seem like a nice person too. You know? He said, yeah, our lawyers told us that you were a horrible person, and we should take you down and make an example out of you and destroy your company so nobody would ever want to do this in one of our products.
Oh, no.
I said, oh, funny. Lawyers, okay, yeah.
Who make money from lawsuits.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, they invited us to go there. I did a presentation to their senior vice president, all these different people, and I said, hey, this is how you stuff on Amazon, blah, blah, blah. We settled on a payment. I paid them one large sum for the past, and I paid them for all future sales of that product. We settled. That was amazing. That was so nice.
When all else fails, communicate.
That's right.
I can't imagine though, your second child's coming, it's your birthday, and the lawsuit's like, wow, that's like the perfect storm here. Wow, okay, good. I'm gonna jump then, because we covered so much. So then, now you've got one product in this new relationship. When I was looking at everything you were doing, there was a time where you were scaling by product.
Yeah.
Because it's like, so now we're in Amazon, a very competitive, I should say, there was many products, and you blazed a trail amongst all these different products that nobody could quite keep up with. What was the thought process in that, where you had differentiated and separated yourself, and it was like a one product that whole scaling of that part. It was fascinating when I was looking at it.
So it goes down to, I guess, so after the lawsuit kind of was done, we go, whew, we have a chance to breathe again.
Yeah.
Okay? So now we look and we said, hey, we went, so that year, the year of the lawsuit, we did about $1.5 million of sales. That's the year I quit my job. The next year we went up to almost $3 million in sales. And that is...
Double.
It was double.
Nice.
And it was, every month it was like consistent, and we had added about 4 products.
And by the way, on that, sorry to cut you off, but
Yeah.
how much employee addition did you have to double your sales?
Well, so here's, I don't want to only compare this to other Amazon companies because,
Yeah.
okay, the thing is about Amazon, they take their fees and they have about, I want to say, 80,000 people loading packages. And instead of hiring people, you pay them a tiny fee.
Yep.
And they load the packages for you. Right? So we kind of had people working for us at Amazon, but my team was me, my wife, and one person overseas in Venezuela.
Still the same.
That was that was it.
Yeah.
Well, when we did that $1.5 million, and then we started hiring at $3 million, and we had, I think that year we we got to 2 people here. So it was 3 people here in the US, 2 people overseas, so it was a team of 5 maybe, for 3 million.
Okay, good. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay, so.
Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, no, perfectly, as much as you like. So, back to the conditions, okay? This organizational technology. When you're growing, okay, and you have some sort of growth, right? You'll see it and you could log into it and check it out. But it's called the condition of normal. It's growing. In normal, okay, one of the steps is to look and see, why did it grow? Why is this growing? Why did this part go down? Analyze it. And so I did that. I'm like, okay, let me follow the steps and let's go find out, why did it go up? Oh, turns out we added these 4 products. That's it. And it says right there in the condition. Do more of those things. Okay, let's do more. Okay. So I said that year, instead of those 4 products, let's add 12. Right? Let's go for 1 every month. I'll get a new product every month. And that year, that's when we went from 1.5 to 3 million. Right? Those 12 products resulted in almost exactly. In the analysis, each product had done $100,000 of sales in that year. The new ones. And that's what made the jump from, it was 800,000 to 1.5. So then that next jump was because we added 12 products. Those added 100,000 each, approximately on average. And then the rest of the company grew to say X, 5%, whatever it was. And then combined, that was that total. So then I'm like, okay, let me get back into this. Let's go back and do it again. Let's do more of those things. And then, I said, let's do 1 every week. Let's add a product every week. Okay, so let's add. Let's add 52 products this year. And what's crazy is that it worked. So that year we went from 2.9 million. We're going for 52, ended up adding like 60 or 65 products. And then we went from 2.9 million to 8.7 million in 1 year. Okay. Wow. So that was part of the condition. And okay, there was another one which I failed to use, which ended up coming very soon after that. And this,
go ahead.
We can get into that one.
You're there.
So then I said, hey, I'm unbeatable. I'm the champion of Amazon. I can sell anything. Okay? Let's add 250 products. Okay? Let's add 5 every weekday. Every working weekday, let's add 5. And so this was a time when we went into the next condition, which is called affluence. Okay? Condition of affluence. And that one is a very tricky condition, and you guys can look it up, but it's very tricky and it's one of the most dangerous. Because when you have this huge jump, what happens, one of the things is it gets to your head. You think you're amazing and you're unstoppable. Okay. There was a fit, and actually, I'm not going to tell one of the stories. But okay, so for me, that was happening. And in one of those steps, right, is don't make future commitments of payments, right? Don't buy things that have future payments. So what did I do? I ended up doing the opposite, okay? And I told all of my suppliers, all the people who made all the factories, all the stuff, and I said, we're unstoppable. We're gonna order tons of products, and we'll pay you later. Because every product that goes, at that time, every product that was going into Amazon, within a week or 2 was making profit. It was just the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. It was just like 90% success rate, everything's making profit. I go, let's double down, let's get loans. I got a massive loan from the Small Business Administration, $4.3 million. I told all my suppliers I'll pay them in the future, and I didn't even know how much I was ordering. I just said, just order the 250. And as we were doing that, that was kind of working, seemed like. And then I went really crazy, and I said, let's make 25 products every weekday. So we're gonna go for almost 3,000 products in a year. And I wasn't paying attention to the cash flow. I was basically violating everything of affluence, everything. Violating it like to the T. Like if you look at it, I'm like, I'm gonna do the opposite of this, I'm gonna do the opposite of this, I'm gonna do the opposite of this. And there was this storm. One of the things is like when you do that and you get what's called leverage, you're using debt, you're using future, you're using all these things, because you think you're unstoppable, because that's what that does. When you see this thing, there's another economic side, but he calls it a swelled head. Your head gets so big, you're like, well, I can do anything. And then you splat.
Yeah.
Okay? And so it ended up happening, right as a lot of these products were coming in, we have the most leverage ever, because I go, it's a waste. If we don't add a product, and we don't put money on a card, on loan, on this, we're losing money, because every product is launching is doing well. Like it would be a bad moral decision to not have that. That was my big point. If I don't add everything I can into this, because everything's selling, that would be very bad. And what ended up happening, as these products were coming in, there was about 1,000 new products on the water coming in. And COVID started to happen. And Amazon changed their rules. Okay? At that time, we had no warehousing in the United States. We had no warehousing. Things would come in, it would go right into Amazon, all the units, and they would start selling, and it would go. But they made a restriction, right? It was crazy, the timing. Somehow you break these formulas, the condition formulas, and like the world just punishes you. As these 1,000 products are like on the water coming, Amazon goes, you can now only send in 200 units for any new product. So I have 3,000, 5,000. They're blocking my shipments. But all of those products, I was going to pay for them with the sales they were generating.
Right.
So I had to get a warehouse out of this. Then I'm like, okay, good. We're just going to go move fast. We're going to sell fast. So we would send in 200. In some cases, we would sell it out in 2 days. So 200 was supposed to be 1 month of sales. They would allow you to send in 1 month of inventory. We would sell 200 units in 2 days, and then Amazon would say, okay, good, you can send in now. Now you sold 200 in 2 days. Now you can send in 150 units. I go, hold on, whoa. See, it was great. I was like, hold on. Can someone explain? So it was happening. It was literally made just to punish us. So they were looking at 30 days of sales to calculate how much you could send in. But since we had 2 days, it's 200 units in 30 days. And anyway, it was very bad. About 2 months managing that.
This is while all this product is coming in.
Everything's coming in.
Now I have the tsunami
you can't undo it. I just shipped all the stuff. I have,
Yeah.
I don't know how much. Later on, I found we ordered something like $14 million of goods in China coming in.
Yep.
And we had about cash was, I don't know, 500K. Like it was nothing, like it was nuts. Like bad, very, very bad. And at that point, then we did massive layoffs. We did all we couldn't do anything. And then a few of the staff that we kept, at some point, we didn't know what was coming out of the bank account because we'd have to send out wires and people were requesting. And at one point, this one payment came out that we were not expecting, and payroll was coming the next day, and we didn't have money for pay. Like it was bad. So we ended up taking all my personal cards, doing balance transfers, doing this to pay the payroll, to keep the staff to tell us stuff. Like we were about to be done. And we owed the SBA now, Small Business Administration, $4 million. We owed the guys in China $10 million, and we had no money. So again, like, no matter where you are, no matter how great, like, everything's going, you violate these conditions, and it's this far away from everything being lost. So.
Yep. Well, that brings me to my next question before I go to the next one. Many of the business owners here, it's like those unforeseen things, and I guess for our students up and coming. When you look back now, and you look at these tools that the Hubbard College has, and you look at their application, how closely do you follow them now, and why?
Okay. There's a thing that occurred yesterday. I don't know if anyone knows. I don't know if we're going to into it, but it's an interesting thing. There was a massive tariffs that were just announced.
Yeah.
104% tariffs. It's a very dangerous thing for us. Like the condition. It is a thing that could. Again, we're back. The business is never like you're relaxed. Every moment you got to defend something. That's why, like, if you can't do this for someone else, where you don't have the risk and make money and help someone else's company grow, doing it for yourself is never a good first, in my opinion. Anyway, extremely dangerous thing that's occurred for our industry, for our company, for going forward. Now, if we do it wrong, we can go down very fast. If we do it right, we could succeed out of this, where a lot of my people might fail. And so the thing is, that's meetings to right now, like opening up that condition. What is this, a dangerous condition? What are the steps? First step, okay, bypass their habits and normal routines. That's the first step. Like, what are we doing now that's changing? And we are attacking this thing fast, using these conditions, because that is the key thing that has kept us, when we use it, on the good ground. So we meet on it very regularly. It's something I'm always thinking of, and it's vital. Including, anyway, every single condition, there's a graph, and we look at it, and when there's certain scenarios, we're opening up. Online, we use MAKH, modelmapandknowhow.org, where everything's on there, all of our stats are on there, so we can see every condition, and we use that. I mean, we teach all of our team how to read them, how to apply it, how to do the formulas.
Yeah, and Benjamin mentioned that yesterday afternoon, how you have to be able to measure, and then when you look at it, you get to predict the future with these conditions. Your experience as well?
Yeah. Now, again, as best as you can. As best as you can.
Even applied stupidly.
Yeah.
Still, if that's the correct one. Okay, good. Okay, good. Next question here. So many of us face challenges with suppliers, vendors, and things that change unexpectedly. And then Amazon changed over the years also. But you managed to maintain, one of the top 100s. Did many fall away because they couldn't adapt to the change?
Oh yeah.
And then what were some of the things you did to make sure that you guys made it, other than, scrambling and applying the conditions properly for blood? And were there anything else that it was like, here's my advice to somebody looking at being an entrepreneur, and what tools they would want to have under their belt before they start, or all of us that are business owners that, brace for impact or the pending impact, and being ready for things like this, because it's going to change. Things change.
So I have a story of how it could go if you don't have conditions. And there's two things. So the conditions are extremely important, extremely key. Another one is where you put blame. Okay, there's an emotion that we feel, which is blame, which is this person. It's Amazon. The amount of people that agree, that say Amazon is the reason my business failed, there is a lot. If you look at the people that their business actually failed, there's a lot. I have a lot of friends that I know and acquaintances that will go down. And they will say, oh, what happened to your business? Well, Amazon changed this, Amazon did this happened, blah, blah, blah. And there's always a blame of someone else. Never is it, oh, I didn't do this condition at that point. And, like the blame factor is the biggest one out of anything. So rather than going and looking at factors that you cannot control, you put your attention on things that you can control, and you can control your own statistics, and then you can control how you're going to respond to what's happening. So yes, people come into the market. What are you going to do? Did your stats go a little bit down? Good. How are you going to come out of that emergency condition? Those are the steps. And so the big difference is, are you blaming somewhere else? Are you saying, what did I do to get here? Why am I right? Like even right now, I'm like, okay, tariffs, this, everything else. Okay, where are our international sales? Why is that lagging? Why are we there's things of like, there's no blame. Because the second you blame, you actually put the control and responsibility outside. That's what blame is. Blame is saying that person controlled me.
That's right.
Amazon made me go down. Well, the second you say that, now you're no longer controlling your own future. You're no longer controlling your statistics, your company. Someone else is controlling because you just gave them the wheel. And that is the biggest difference between the successful companies and the unsuccessful ones, are where they see, what can I control? And how do I get myself from this condition to the next one, instead of blaming somewhere else? And I'll give a quick story. This is a good one. A good friend of mine, his name is Vlad. Okay, he's a guy from Romania, and he was the first person on Amazon to sell what's called a spiralizer. Does anybody ever use a spiralizer? You put like a zucchini and it makes noodles. Yeah? Okay, so a little spiralizer. He was the first one to get that to Amazon back in like 2013 or 14 or something like that. And at that time, there was no competition. There's nothing, like, he put it up. And it was selling like hundreds and hundreds in a second with no ads, like you just put it up and it was selling. At that time, it was just like, wow, it was just going crazy. And again, I didn't talk to him about this condition, maybe I should. But he had this very big affluence, okay? And rather than doing the steps which are investing in the future in the products, not doing future payments, he did get the Lamborghini, the house, he did everything. And then all those, at some point, not defending that company ended up going, regardless of being first to market, having tons of reviews, everything else. This company ended up going 4, 5, 6 years to pretty much zero. And then all the future payments, and it was a massive, huge problem. So what occurs is, even if you get lucky, right, you get some huge amount of cash, you were in the right place at the right time, you hit the market. There's another person that I know who, they were in the lemon squeezer category 6 months before me. And they quit, even after they got to number 1. That's a whole other story for another day. But the point is that you can't just get lucky once. You have to get lucky once, create your luck, however you want to say it, but you have to get there, and then you have to modify and do the right steps at the right time each place to get to the next level. There's never a time to wait and relax and wait for someone else to come and do something that you're going to then blame them for. You have to be thinking, what can happen next? What am I going to do to prepare for a difficult event happening tomorrow? How do I get my organization tighter? How do I make sure the conditions are better? How do all those things happen? Because no matter what your success is, early to market, this, whatever happens, it all can go away very fast. If you're not making growth. We almost went bankrupt at least 3 times. At least, probably 4. And, okay. So someone else probably got there and then it did fail. So yeah, I don't know. You can't blame other people. If I would have just been, oh my gosh, this company's destroying me, they're suing me this, oh my god, they're horrible, blah, blah. No, I gotta figure out what I can do. I can reach out to them. I can reach out to all of them. I can, otherwise, any moment of, a moment of crisis, that's what being an entrepreneur is, actually. Entrepreneur, you take on risks. Well, guess what? Risks make problems. Like that. So you have to kind of love the game of overcoming random crap that happens. Yeah. Like that is what, otherwise, why would you have a business? Because that's, by definition, if you're growing, you're going to have major issues, major problems that you will have to overcome, and that is the game. That is the new video game. That's my new boss. That's my new fit. Those are the new steps, because they will come. And if you tell yourself you're going to be so good and they will not come, I've never seen any successful person say, it was all smooth and we had no issues and just was going and there was never an emergency, there was never a danger, there was never, it doesn't occur.
Yep, good advice. And then, so basically, the applications of the technology that the Hubbard College has is for I'll ask this for our up-and-coming billionaires over there and over there. How, in your success, now let me kind of paint the picture here before you answer. In 2015, 8,000 in sales. 2016, 165,000 in sales. 2017, 1.53 million in sales. 2018, 2.9 million in sales. 2019, 8.7 million in sales. 2020, 38 million in sales.
No, 36, but
36 million. Oh yeah, sorry. I got the glasses where you could, look at your face and pick them. But so with that growth, okay, I almost forgot my question here, but going back to the young folks starting out, how much of the challenges would have been eliminated in that growth for you, or stress, or anything that you wish you would have been able to avoid by having knowledge of business before you really started and got going? What percentage and what impact would that have had on you, your family, and all of that if you would have had that technology right out of the gate?
I think that, this is maybe for me, but I will tell you, for example, when we were up, going really huge, right, that big jump, 36 million, 60 million, in that time, when things are going really high, I had access to, let's say, the affluence formula. Mm-hmm. I even had it in my office. But in some case, I didn't have a story someone saying, hey, this occurred and I violated and this is exactly what happened. So I was missing a bit of context, I guess, maybe the example. And I just was too stubborn and cocky and whatever to see and say, no, this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea to go and get all this leverage in the future and violate this formula, right? And so I think that in some cases you have to go through and run into a bit of problems and say, oh wow, I should have been doing this, right? Because even if you have it with you, sometimes to learn it is, hey, you made a mistake, and then you go, wow, I'm never gonna do that again, right? So hopefully, from the story, you say, hey, if you get something good and you succeed, have this happen, take it out and follow it. Listen to me, please, because I was never closer to losing everything than at that moment. And so, it's just, a few of them could be avoided if, okay, I was smarter at that moment, but no one said, hey, this happened to me, I don't know, a mentor or something, I didn't come to this event. Like, hey, when that occurs, you better open that up and not do anything else, and don't think you're so smart, because I'm not so smart. I'm not so smart. I can do some steps, and if I'm coming out of it, I'm being too smart. I'm not. So, will there be issues and problems all the time? Yes. But if you have the tools, you can overcome them and long-term succeed. At short-term, there will be issues. There is no way. There is no way. Again, there's going to be issues. But if you can follow it to the T, exactly, you can avoid some of the big ones.
Beautiful. In the little bit ago, it was like, I'm going to go get some business experience. When I was spending a lot of time gaming, and the business experience, you're able to apply. And then here you're talking to this company saying you can make profit this way. It's shocked by the answer. So basically, my experience, let me know if this models you, there's understanding, and then there's the ability to apply it and learn from either I applied it wrong or I applied it right. And either way, there's a win because you're in the game swinging. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, what was kind of validating in a weird, bad, sad way is that company ended up selling for nothing, the company I was working for.
Wow.
About 4 years later, they tried to do a raise, they couldn't raise it, and then they sold for nothing. Like the investors that put money there lost a lot of money.
Yep.
And so it kind of was like, hey, if it would have happened the other way, I would have been like, wow, how do I make a company grow with no profit? Because some people do that. I don't yet understand that. I can't put it on the graph and see and understand it. Like I'm not but I did see that fail. I'm like, okay, good. I reconfirmed my idea that a company should be profitable and should sustain itself and should be able to live on its own and not subsidies from the government, not subsidies from investors, or whatever. Like it should have its own profit and not lose and not burn. And I think these years, maybe in the last 2 decades, there's been a shift also into that on Wall Street and on some of these firms where there's less of this focus on kind of growth with less profit or no profit or negative profit, and people are moving into a bit of what I think is more of a sane situation. But yeah, seeing it and living it and understanding, hey, this person thought that at that moment, and remembering, I thought this would happen, and okay, that did happen. And in some cases I was wrong. So you need to just examine and observe a bit more and see what conditions are happening out there, what is actually moving, what's occurring, and pay attention. Because it's happening right now. Whether it's your parents' company, if you have your parents watch them, what are they doing? What's their company? What is their job? What have they made suggestions that weren't taken? Or is there another creation of a future? Like, what is occurring around you? Because it's happening. There is a lot happening all around you. And if you just look, you'll see tons of examples everywhere.
Yeah, boy, isn't that true? Okay, well, I'm going to switch to some of the questions from the audience.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much for everything so far from my questions. It was fascinating and inspiring learning about you because, we see each other at different charity things and all that, and you cross paths with people and all of a sudden you know more about them. It was like fascinating. Yeah, and in a very, very positive way, both you and Whitney. It's like, wow, look at these two. While I'm finding a couple questions from the audience, when you during your story you said I was pregnant with the first and then pregnant with the second child and all this
Whitney
was
was
happening.
pregnant.
Whitney was pregnant, yeah. You were the culprit, but she was the carrier. Okay, good. Anyway, now when, you know, how did all the, when you're going through business and you're facing adversity in business, what did that do personally, in your personal life? Because we get into business conferences, and then I always end up, if I'm talking to a CEO that's trying to fix some part of life, and he's already got more money than he knows what to do with. It always comes back to, at what point in time did you realize that that success is only dependent upon the success, the important things in life?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, it was pretty clear already from what I said, like, if I didn't have a family and have a pressure to do anything, I probably would be really broke. I mean, that's me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people can do it without a family, without pressure. I can't, or they have different pressures, right? So each person responds in different ways.
Sure.
But there's a continual pressure of setting an example for my own kids. So I have 4 now. So we have a 7-month-old baby.
Yeah, congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I was very afraid of 1, and then now I got 4. So anyway, I know every day they see me, what I do, I'll talk to them, they ask me questions, okay, what's it, you know, and Luna, who's my eldest, she's been on my podcast, like, she actually paid for her own trip to go to Japan a few weeks ago. When she was 9, she sold paintings to make $1,300 to pay for her ticket. She's 9 years old.
Wow.
And she went to Japan with my mom. So like, I tell her about selling, she goes, oh, what are you doing? Okay, what are you selling? How much did you sell today? This, I don't know, like literally she asks me these questions. And it's fun to say, hey, this is what occurred, and talk it through, and she can see that it's a game, because I also feel I'm not so serious. Like, I don't come home and I'm like, oh no, Amazon is gonna give me the bad fees today. Like, and she's like, ooh, I never want to sell on Amazon. Right? Like, that's bad. I actually I know someone who has that, where they have all stress, and then their kids are like, I'm never gonna do what that guy's doing, right?
Yeah.
And so I know, like, I have to be winning at my job, because there is an effect. If I feel bad about my work, about my job, about my business, and I'm coming home, and my children notice that I had a terrible day, their desire and willingness to get into that business is going to be less. So I can't lose. I have to follow the steps correctly. I have to do the right things, and I have to be on a successful path, growing and getting the things I want done, and having the purpose. It's like our company, Zula Kitchen, we represent family values. We represent people, instead of going out of it, you can be home together as a family, cook together, eat together. It's a company that puts forward the idea that we can take care of ourselves. Families can make food for each other. We can be a self-sustaining unit. And that entire idea comes through with what I do. And so that me seeing those kids, like, for example, well, the lawsuit's happening, I can't just, there was a time where I'm like, there's nothing we can do. And then I look at the belly. I'm like, she's pregnant. Okay, I gotta do something. Like,
Not that quick.
There's not a choice, right?
Yeah.
And so I think having dependencies and putting obligations on yourself is an important part of life, but it's an important part of business and life, because you can't just sit around, and you have to become active part and win. The big pieces, you have to get the wins.
Yep, oh, beautiful. Okay, I'm going to elaborate on that. We've got time. Yeah. We got time for a couple more questions, but remember yesterday, think back yesterday, and I'm going to ask the next question, because what Aaron just said is his brand and his PR. It's family and a family. Did everybody see that? Okay, good, because yesterday we had David came about branding, or the branding guru, and then PR, and then marketing, and how they all play. And one of the things that came up was what you stand for. So how important, and what did that Zule was a family, and you tied it to something greater than the lemon squeezer. How did that separate you in Amazon? Did that contribute to? Were you able to parlay that into more?
I mean, the thing, I think that the key point. One thing I love about Amazon is you can get that quick win, where that first customer had no idea what the brand was. But little by little, now, like actually we were with my daughter, Violet, my second daughter, at TJ Maxx yesterday, and she was stopping, oh, I like this. It was this gold garlic press. And I go, look in the back. I'm not even joking, this is like out of a movie. And she's back and it's a picture of her with the family.
Oh my God.
Because it's our product. Out of all the ones, she picked it out because we have the packaging team and this and everything. And she literally picked it out and it's like, let's see. She's like, oh my God. Like, it was amazing. And so I do believe that, yes, our family, we have our family on Amazon. When you go to Amazon, our products, we're there. Hey, this is us. You're supporting us, you're supporting our family, and you're supporting families in general. And so I think that's important. But it wasn't required to start. At the beginning, nobody knew it, and we developed that as time went on. And so the brand is strong for long term, and it's not always needed for your first successes.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, 2 more questions. Here we go. What would you share with budding entrepreneurs that are just, the next billionaires here they come, right? What would you share with them that you feel would be important for them to know right now?
The first thing that comes to mind is just get out there. Try, be excited about things. Literally, excitement is so, shunned on today. Like if I remember there was some politician was running for something, or governor, 10 years ago, and he was like, did something exciting on there, and he lost all the polls and he lost because he was too excited. And I go like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like today, people get punished for like, you're too excited, you're told mellow down, take some pills, like I don't know. No, that's how you move. Your emotion will dictate what you do. And so when you get excited of a possibility, it doesn't have to be $100 million, $1 million, but if you're like $1,000, that can get me excited and it's doable and I can get a win and make action for that. Be excited and do things. And if one thing fails, excitement can keep you going after the failure. Because if you're like, oh, I tried that, it didn't work. That's bad. It's too hard. It's too competitive. You're not gonna try again. You're not gonna take out a book. What's the condition? Take out a book. How do I promote? Come to a conference. You're gonna just not do much. But when you put yourself into an emotion of, I'm going to move. I'm gonna go into that, and I'll figure it out. Maybe it's not today. Maybe it's not next month, but sometime I will figure it out. And you go on it and don't stop, because that push and that drive is the key difference. It's not your intelligence, it's not your IQ, those things are great. But the person who can keep going and push barriers to the side and say, oh, that's just a barrier. And not blame it and not say, that barrier is so big it's gonna crush me. And keep moving. That is what I've seen makes a difference, makes all the difference.
Gold. Woo! Okay, last question. Is there something you wanted to share with the audience that you were thinking about before you came, and I just didn't ask the question right, that you'd like to share with everybody?
You guys can reach out to me directly. I mean, you have the texting, I don't tweet against anything, but I'm on social media, write to me on LinkedIn or whatever, I'll answer questions. I'll be around for a little bit after this. If you just come and ask me any questions, I'm very happy to share. I believe that business, it's not about making the money. If you're not making money, you're probably doing something wrong, because if you're delivering something valuable to people, they're probably going to be paid. You should work it out where you're going to get paid. But the goal, our life, everybody's life here will not get better unless somebody says, hey, Emmett, I want you to be in this amazing suit today. And someone dedicated their life to make the best suit for you to be happy in it. I want these glasses to be so nice when you wear it. You're like, wow, this guy looks sharp. Like that haircut that you got, those clippers that were used, those clippers are gonna do the amazing job. And then now you have all these people putting their ideas and their futures and their careers to make your life better, to make you happier, to make you more entertained, to make you faster, to make you more fit, to make you whatever. And if you boil down your business into what am I gonna do for a person? And for us, it's kitchen happiness, right? That's our slogan. It's when you're in the kitchen, you're doing something, you should be happy. You should be like, I love this thing. I'll tell you, there's some videos that people have submitted that using our lemon squeeze, they're using this, and they're like thrilled. I had a person, a friend of mine from high school, her mom sent her a 20-minute video explaining to her how she had to buy a milk frother because it changed her life. And she's like, I know that that guy. It was amazing. So when you know that you can create those effects, which one do you want to create?
That's right.
What effect do you want to create in somebody's life? When 10 years from now, 5 years from now, someone writes to you and they said, some friend that you knew back when, they were affected by your product, by your service in a way that you didn't even think would reach that far, what would that effect be? Focus on that and make sure that you find a vehicle, right? Your non-existence formula. Find what people need and what do you want to deliver and make that be so special that when you wake up in the morning, you're excited.
Beautiful. All of us here, all of us putting to college and all of the attendees, not only were we grateful that you took your time today to spend with us and your expertise, we're also grateful for all the contribution you have done philanthropically. The amounts are staggering because it speaks to why a kitchen is such a place of joy for a family. Thank you.